Before we get into today's episode of Big Fight Weekly, I want to say today's episode is in tribute of boxing legend Chris Eubank's son, Sebastian Eubank, who has died over the weekend. So sad. He was a boxer himself, obviously. His brother, Chris Eubank Jr., we know boxes too. But yeah, just our heartfelt sympathies to the Eubank family. And just wanted to do this before we go into the live. R.I.P. Sebastian Eubank. A warm welcome to episode 21 of Powered4.tv Big Fight Weekly with myself, Stu Palmer, and my co-host, Chris Hume. How are you, Chris?
Brilliant, mate.
And we've got a guest all the way from Chicago. It is the host of The Art of Partying, Albert Barlow, joining us today.
What is up, everybody? Finally making my Big Fight Weekly premiere. How is everyone doing this beautiful Monday morning?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
We're all good. We're all good, man. We're all good. I think first bit of business is to talk about the huge main event from UFC 264. Poirier beats Conor McGregor, but there's a leg break in the process, stopping the fight coming up for a second round. Yeah, I think, guys, just where does Conor go from here is my first point. Chris?
Mate, if I'm completely honest with you, I'll say, first and foremost is Conor McGregor rose so fast and Conor McGregor's fallen down this hill even quicker. Where does he go? He's got his Nate Diaz trilogy. He can do that if he wants. He could fight Russell Desonos maybe when he comes back in 6 to 8 months. It'll probably be longer than 6 to 8 months. I'm probably saying about 12 months, would you say? To get himself back prim and proper and ready. It's hard now to see where he goes. Is he a title contender anymore? Maybe not now. I don't think he's the same guy. I think this Conor McGregor we're seeing now is a shell of his former self, personally.
Albert, what do you feel in terms of Conor, and where would you see him go, and where does he plot his course off the back of that defeat? Now, that's 3 losses in 4 bouts now as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah, it's really tough to say. I think he goes with the Nate Diaz fights. I mean, his motivation is gone. From what I saw, the distasteful comments he said, I mean, it's kind of hard to come back from a fight like that. Really is. I really think, the Nate Diaz fight is probably in his best interest. And we'll see where it goes from there. But
does he beat Nate Diaz? Does he beat him? That's a big question now. I think Nate's carried on with his career. He's always fought. He's been consistent. I think he struggles against Nate Diaz in the 3rd fight. I really, really do. And after this leg break and the subsequent time off, how is he going to be? How is he going to be in the mind after that, deep down?
Well, the thing is, you look at fighters that have had leg breaks, have never come back the same. Anderson Silva, obviously, everyone knows about that against Chris Weidman. He never came back the same person. He was a bit older, which probably took his toll on him a bit more than it would be, say, Conor McGregor, who's only, 33 next week? Was it this? Yeah, it's this week. Mm-hmm. He might come back a bit better, but those sort of things are almost, you would say, his career ending. And if they do come back, they're never the same fighter, and I think he's going to struggle. I just think, when you look back at the fight, the whole sort of minutes we had to see, Conor McGregor only had a decent 60 seconds in that whole round, and then Dustin Poirier turned it on, and Dustin Poirier hurt him. Dustin Poirier pushed him, and to see Conor McGregor, what did he say in a press conference? Who shoots first for wrestling? Well, he shot first, and then he says about submissions, he shot first for a submission,
right?
He said someone was going out. Dustin was going out on the stretcher, and he was the one going out on the stretcher.
Yeah, he was.
So everything he said in the press conference, and mind you, I'm going to say now the press conference was dreadful. I think the journalist, the comments to him were awful. I think for the pair of them, the whole back and forwards. Conor, used to be intellectual, snappy, really witty when it comes to press conferences against his fellow fighter. But when you can't get inside their head, this is where he tumbles. The whole getting people to chant Jolie's wife.
Yeah, that was very distasteful. Very distasteful.
How old are we at this point in time where, we're having to get some sort of schoolyard chant to try and embarrass someone? I'm totally against it. And I think, my feelings with Conor McGregor was starting to dwindle down then. I'm thinking, like, if this is the level we're going now, where we're using schoolyard bullshit to try and get inside of people's head, it bores me. And in some way, during the fight, he got what he deserved. Sadly, I just think Dustin Poirier is a much better fighter. Dustin Poirier even proved on Saturday, Sunday morning for us, he's a better boxer.
Yes,
because
he did.
He took Conor McGregor's best skill set and completely clattered him. And that changed the whole complex of the fight then. And then obviously you go for Conor trying to go for the takedown. Dustin Poirier pushes him against the fence. Conor goes for the guillotine. Now, me, I love my BJJ, so I always think, a standing guillotine's usually a lot better than when you've got someone trying to take you down and you pull guard with the guillotine. You're leaving yourself open, and even though the commenters, the Cormiers and the Rogans are saying, like, he's putting himself in a bad position here, and he clearly put himself in a bad position. But then, you got to look at Dustin Poirier and how well he worked. He got him to the ground, and it was in his mount. And what did Conor do to protect himself? He just turtled up, and he took elbows and punches, even though he cheated a bit as well. Don't know if you noticed that he was sticking his hands in
I heard about that.
Dustin Poirier's glove when he was trying to upkick him as well. So that was quite, that was dirty. And it just makes you think now when you look at Conor McGregor and there's like, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for bringing eyes and, being relatable when you were early on in your career, because he was relatable when he first broke into the scene. I'm just really disappointed in how this has panned out and how you don't really look at the fight. You look at like what the man has become.
My worry is Dana White, because he knows it'll always pull the buys in and the numbers. Have they released any numbers when we find out what it drew?
Probably next couple of days, I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it's just, and he's put the graphic up about the buy rates, hasn't he, over the years? 6 out of the 10, he's in the top 10, isn't he? And that doesn't lie. But I think with Dana White, he just sees it as a money making machine,
exactly.
And they're not looking at McGregor, his well-being. So as much as he's saying I'll take the fight, Dana needs to maybe take his foot off the gas a little bit in regards to Conor.
Right, a question for both of you then. Does Conor and Poirier fight again?
No, because it's the same outcome. Albert, sorry I jumped in then.
No, it's okay. I don't see it happening, but I'm under the theory controversy makes cash. And that's what goes on in Dana White's mind at the time, all the time. So I'm thinking we're going to see if he does need Diaz and Colin. And then who knows, maybe he might do a third. At this point, it's very up in the air with this. It's very up in the air.
Chris, you're saying about RDA as well. He doesn't beat RDA. He won't beat Rafael Dos Anjos if they went for that as well.
No, they won't. No, he will not.
Where's Chris?
My internet went a bit poo.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to put some pictures up. This one is viewer discretion is advised because you do see a bit of the ankle. So you guys want to obviously make some comments on this as we see it.
Right there's the break.
I'll just take the banner off here so you can see the ankle there.
And he's wincing in pain, and he looks knackered as well. I know he's obviously wincing from the break.
He was knackered, yeah. He was knackered as soon as he got up. Yeah,
I totally agree. And when he was on the ground, he was getting swarmed. He wouldn't. He say hypothetically now the leg break doesn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no way in hell he was coming out of that second round because he would have stopped it, Poirier. He was knackered. He was shot on the ground as well, wasn't he? He was tired. He was a tired man on the ground there. Dustin just kept working him, and there was no way. Say the break hadn't have happened. There's no way that was going past the second round for me. He was done. He was a spent force.
I don't think so either.
I 100% agree. And you know what the crazy thing is? People always say Conor McGregor, first round is his best. Yeah, this is where he's more fluent and he's energetic and he can get you then. Like I said, 60 seconds. He come in, he did his spinning back kicks like he did in the very first fight they fought. And once Dustin Poirier broke through that and landed, Conor didn't want any of it. So it makes me feel like, is Conor now turning into a quitter before the fight's really finished? Because it seemed to me, as soon as Dustin Poirier started connecting, because he was breaking through Conor's stride, so he was interrupting Conor in mid-flow, and I don't think Conor liked that, and he backed him right up. So as soon as he started landing, you saw Conor duck and then try and initiate a clinch. That seems to me for a guy that is a bit worried here. It's really baffling to see a guy that was excellent for so many years. Well, not so many years, because really, what was it? 2013 to 2015. Those were the Conor McGregor era. That was his years. Because after 2015, he buggered off, fought Floyd. He didn't evolve. Where Dustin Poirier was in the gym, Dustin Poirier was fighting the best. Dustin Poirier was getting better. Conor McGregor was driving around in Rolls Royces, sitting in expensive yachts in the sun, somewhere in the Mediterranean, not really focused on himself. When if you look at the guy that beat Eddie Alvarez, he should have stayed around then and evolved, and in his prime, because that was his prime, and he walked away from that to live the lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. He took a payday over trying to be better.
Poirier did what he had to do. Let's not discredit Poirier. And then it's going to be Charles. It's going to be Charles Oliveira next, isn't it, Chris?
A completely different type of fight, that too.
Does he beat Oliveira, Poirier?
Yeah, he could, because Oliveira, as you saw against Michael Chandler, he did get clipped and he did get caught, and he did struggle with the pressure when Michael Chandler had the cardio, because in the second round he lost a lot of that cardio. As you know, right at the end of the first round, Michael Chandler was, trying to win the fight, and it, expelled a lot of that cardio trying to finish the fight in the first round. Dustin Poirier obviously hasn't got a bad cardio, so Dustin Poirier is not going to go in and full tilt and unload his whole of his cardio against Charles Oliveira. But Charles Oliveira can get clipped. The flip side to this is Charles Oliveira is really good with his kicks himself, and he's got the striking range, and I think he's got a longer reach than Dustin Poirier. And you saw in the Chandler fight, when he started to connect against Chandler, he was coming from the outside. Do you know what I mean? And there was the counter in then. And obviously, the ground game of Charles Oliveira, as everyone knows, is slick. So it's an interesting matchup when you really look at it.
Both guys as well, don't they? They took losses in their career, and now they're on the upsurge, aren't they? So it's quite there's a good narrative there. They're both on the upsurge, obviously. Chris, I think we've got some clipped audio of Dustin Poirier in the press conference. I think if we just play that. John's put this together for us today. We've put some clips of what Dustin would say in post-fight in the press conference.
I'll whack it on now, mate.
How satisfied are you as you sit there right now with the performance tonight?
You never want to get a win that way, but what happened was a result of checking a kick. I'm more than sure of it, and he got what he had coming to him, man. Karma's a mirror. And I busted my ass for so long to put myself in this position. I doubled down on myself after beating him in January when they offered me a title shot. I doubled down on myself and it paid off. You'll see him on the ground still saying some real bad stuff. But even that stuff being said, I don't wish, serious harm like that on nobody. The guy's got kids. I want him to go home safe to his family. I pray before these fights. Every time before I walk through the octagon door, I'm praying that not for me to win. I'm praying that we both get out of this safe, because I know what I'm going to try to do to him. I know what he's going to try to do to me.
While he was here earlier, Dana said, obviously you're going to fight for the title next, but at some point you do the rematch down the line. Do you feel like the rivalry is over? Or do you feel like
no? We are going to fight again, whether it's in the octagon or on the sidewalk. You don't say the stuff he said,
The things that he did say, especially afterwards, you're saying about your wife and that sort of thing.
Nah, my wife's solid as a rock. I'm not worried about that. That's noise. He was saying that he was going to kill me. You don't say stuff like that. That he was going to murder me. You don't say stuff like that. You don't say stuff about people's wives either. But I know that's zero chance. But there is a chance. Somebody could die, and you don't say that. You don't wish that on anybody, man.
early. I'm sure you want to go rest a little bit.
I just want to know how much Chad Ochocinco lost tonight. Yeah, you bet on Conor? Okay.
I figured he'd put more down than that as well. No, but I will ask, obviously you fight for the title next. Do you have an idea? I mean, do you have a date circuit on the calendar, an idea? I mean, how soon you want to fight?
I feel like I've been preparing for a fight since last year because I was getting ready for Conor in January. I fought him. As soon as the fight ended, I knew that was next. So I got home from Abu Dhabi and started training for that fight. I did a 9-week camp, but as soon as I got home from Abu Dhabi, I was, I had one trip. I got to decompress a little bit, but I was getting ready to fight him again. The last thing I want to do right now is go home and sign a contract and start getting ready right away. We'll see. I just need to get home and think about some things and decompress and spend some time with my family.
Perfectly put there. I'd say what I'd take away from that. There's some key bits there. What you're saying, he's doubled down on himself in those 6 months from the second fight. Number one, what's Conor McGregor been doing? As you say, Chris, there's other stuff going on. I know he's obviously set up the charity where they've been building houses in Uganda. Poirier's got that going on, but it's just fully focused on training for that third fight. That's what I took away from that.
I took away. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, fire away, mate.
What I took away from that clip you guys sent, how composed he was after all the slanderous things Conor said, and he touched on it. You want to make my wife is as solid as a rock. I've been through that, so I feel where he's coming from. But like he said, you don't make death threats. That was totally uncalled for. And like I said, what I took away from that is how composed he was. How he was. It is what it is, but you don't do that. And another thing I took away from that is apparently he wants a fourth fight with Conor. He said it's either going to happen in the octagon or it's going to happen on the street because this got personal. Got extremely personal.
100%.
And he could have had Oliveira sooner, but he went for this. Obviously, you got to look at it from a financial standpoint. Yeah. It's got. He talks a lot of sense. The guy, I think, and to see where he was in 2014 to where he is now. I know we've said about it many times, Chris. He's fantastic. He's rightfully, he's where he is in that rankings, isn't he?
I'm just going to quickly segue to a comment because Rachel Cornell's giving us a super chats for $1.99. Great show. You work so hard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. One of our regulars, a Powered 4 TV Ultra, as I like to call our guys, our staunch people, week in, week out. Yeah, we appreciate that. Me and Chris.
100%. Thank you very much.
John and Rich and the guys, and Albie appreciates it too.
Thank you so much,
Chris.
Well, let's say on closing now of the story of Conor versus Dustin. We're talking about what we just said in the press conference. I think the whole way through every conferences that Dustin had with Conor is he's mentally strong compared to he was in the very first time they fought. And exactly. You saw enough clips of him getting frustrated with Conor in the first fight. The second one, I think he was a bit underwhelming to see why Conor was being so nice. And obviously he had that worrying that I've lost this guy before. This time round, there was nothing. It was clear as day, and there was nothing he could get to him. And he threw. The fact that he's having to throw wives out and death threats, and it didn't get to him. Okay, the death threats it did. As he's saying and alluded to in the press conference. But that's just the man now. Looking at Conor McGregor, that's what he's resorted to because he can't get to Dustin Poirier.
There's only two feasible routes now, right? Because I think he'll lose to Diaz and I think he'd lose to Dos Anjos. I really do. There's one or two things. One thing I don't want to happen is him and Jake Paul. Chris, you've said about it time and time again. That'll be the other route because the amount of money it'll garner. Or
big time money.
Option number two, Vince McMahon puts the call in and he ends up in WWE because he has got the mouth. I know he can't be swearing like he does and making, the sexual jokes that, he makes in the UFC. And he doesn't need to do it for the money, but I could see him. He likes the exposure. He likes being on camera. I could see him in WWE. I know it's been touted for many years now. So
it's very possible. Listen, nothing's off the table when it comes to Conor McGregor. Literally nothing. The guy could go into movies if he wanted to. And don't forget, he could have been in movies after the Eddie Alvarez fight. He was offered Fast and Furious, Game of Thrones. He was offered roles, small roles, but a role's a role at the end of the day. and he turned that down. And this is the thing: is he turned that down to focus on fighting. I think you give him that option now, and I think he might think actually. We're going to the Jake Paul situation. You know, Brett, I know you're watching, and I know you've seen the picture of the necklace that Jake Paul's done for Conor McGregor. I had to laugh when I saw it because as much as I find Jake Paul a twerp, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And he sent that to Dustin Poirier. They've both exchanged on I think Instagram or Twitch. That, you know, Dustin's like, yeah, I'll take that. So hats off to Jake Paul for that, because I think that was absolutely brilliant and bang on. But I think that route will be next. If he does lose, as you say, to Diaz, or Rafael dos Anjos, whoever he fights, because he's not going to be fighting Dustin Poirier when he comes back if Dustin Poirier's the champion. Because if that happens, everyone's going to go mad. He doesn't warrant a title shot. He hasn't won enough fights. He hasn't been around long enough now to warrant a title shot. So he has to get back on the bread, and he has to get and fight someone who's coming up, or someone who's, you know, his experience still in that division, because who knows who's left when he comes back in the Euros. So in closing, I'm really happy for Dustin Poirier. I was really chuffed for him. And, you know, good luck against Charles Oliveira. In regards to Conor McGregor, you've gone down in my estimate so much.
Special mention to the 21,800 fans at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas as well. We were without. We've been without fans for so long across all our sports. You know, we haven't been able to go to concerts and stuff like that. Stuff we took for granted. I know we've said for the last couple of months, having the crowds in again has been amazing. So yeah, you know, well done to all the fans that, you know, and they paid a lot of money to go to that. They paid a lot of money, you know, a lot of their hard-earned cash to go to that event. So yeah,
your mate Justin Bieber was there though, I saw.
Oh wow.
I thought I'd put that next. We mentioned him a few months ago. Well, a few weeks ago.
Before we close this segment about the McGregor thing, I like Stu said, I could see him in the WWE being a heel. He's a really good heel.
He would go, and Vince knows.
Yep,
they'd get more exposure again. Forget like Ronda coming in and people like, you know, they had Fury briefly, didn't they? Velasquez didn't really work out, but he had a go. You know, he had a go. It wasn't his fault, just the way he was booked.
And he was injured as well. Don't forget.
Yeah. There was permutations. You know, that's why it didn't work. Sorry,
right.
Chris.
I'm going to get to our viewers' comments because there is a bucket load, and I don't want them thinking we're ignoring them. So this first one is from Mark Lloyd.
Hi, football has hurt me. England were the true winners as Chiellini cheated. Yeah, he did. He had hold of his top man. What was he doing last night? The fight I felt was what it was. Connor's bad luck continues. Yeah, Mark, absolutely. Yeah. I think he needs to pack it in back and see Dana coming in saying he'd be fighting Diaz. That's what I think. But he's out for a while. He is out for a while, so it could all change. How does he rehabilitate that injury? It might not be as easy as everyone thinks, him getting back in.
Well, we'll find out soon. And Jordan Pickford was England's hero yesterday for the Mighty Blues here.
2-2, yeah. Absolutely. Afternoon, chaps. Carnage Pain, Albert.
Hello, Carnage Pain. I finally get to be on the show and talk to a few of you guys. Carnage Pain is one of those guys I was looking forward to.
Yeah,
Carnage Pain.
Rachel Cornell, I'm proud of the team and I'm disgusted at the same time with the majority of people who sent abuse at our players after. Awful and makes my blood boil. Someone abroad, I think it might have been a UK expat, he was done for racism on Twitter and they found him and he's going to be going into jail. And that guy that put that comment out, they'll find him and people will be reprimanded for this. Disgusting.
Very disgusting.
Yeah, hold on a minute though. There was a guy sniffing a fucking line.
I saw that video. What an idiot! What an idiot, man! Unbelievable.
Storming Wembley, destroying. You know, what I mean, this is why we can't get these competitions over here. This is why the World Cup gets passed on, and this is why Euros usually gets passed on. We're very lucky. We're very lucky that this anniversary was dotted around, and England got to play in Wembley. You know, one time less than everyone else, but this is why they won't come here because we're disgusting.
I've got to be fair. It's the minority of England fans. Not that they want to make this show about football, but we all, because it's current, isn't it? It's the minority that ruin it for the majority because the majority were well behaved, but it's idiots like this that ruin it. They ruin it for everybody else.
I'll give you guys example before we move on. I went to Mexico in 2006. and I think the FIFA Cup was going on. Respectable fans cheered for who they wanted, no problems. But from what I'm hearing, it's some people take it overboard. It happens here in the United States with football, with rival football teams.
People need to serve jail time across the world. It needs outlawing now. They need to get it sorted. And they are finding people. This is what people think. Oh, I'm hiding behind a pseudonym, a different name. They'll be caught. They will be caught. There's no question. Rachel Cornell. Hi, Big Fight Weekly. Don't normally watch footy, but it was on, so I did. Saw clips of McGregor's injury. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, it brought everyone together, especially in England. My mum's English. Chris's mum's English. So, we've got that. Our granddad was English too. So, yeah, I wanted England to win, absolutely. But they've got a good chance at the World Cup. They've got a young squad. They've got young players. So, yeah. Sorry, Chris.
No, it's fine.
Rich Cornell, RIP Sebastian Eubank. Absolutely. Such sad news. Just on holiday in Dubai and something so tragic's happened. But, yeah, this is in memory today of Sebastian Eubank. Mark Lloyd. Hi, Chris and Stu and Albert.
Hello, Mark Lloyd.
Tyler T, which is Isaac, a good friend of mine. Yes, lads, he'll be watching on YouTube. A big combat sports and boxing fan as well is our friend Isaac. We love Isaac.
Hello, Isaac.
And obviously, I have to get this guy in because he's in this show every week.
Brett Thomas. Now, we might not agree on stuff, but I tell you what, you're here every week, and I think the world of you, mate. I really do. Easy answer, Jake Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Both will make a bucket load of money. And in wrestling terms, McGregor will job to Jake and let the Jake continue his destiny to be a boxing world champion. He might take another dive. His other leg might get broken. And he might have to
I'm not sure about that, Brett, mate.
Also, can I just go back to that leg break? I know we've encompassed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Should that have been a no contest?
Well, if you watch my watch along, I did a watch along with Rom, probably towards the end of prelims to the main card, and I was. This is before I got my head cleared, and I sat down the next day and really sort of analysed everything. But I thought it should have been maybe a no contest. I don't agree with the judges doing it a 10-8 because I've seen worse fights where it's been really one-sided and it's been 10-9. So I didn't agree with that. I did think maybe no contest, but Dustin Poirier was in control of the whole fight. Dustin Poirier was winning that fight. Dustin Poirier was going to win the fight, so it makes sense in hindsight that he, got the W.
Mm-hmm. I know there's been a bit of contention with that. Rachel Cornell again. Hi, Albert. Where can we find you? There you go, Alb.
You can find me on Twitter at The Art of Partying, Instagram The Art of Partying, and our Facebook The Art of Partying. And UK, Chris is my co-host on that show, and we'll be on next Saturday. So be looking out for that.
Chris, I hope you are better. He's better. He's been drinking again. He's been drinking. you know he's better now. But yeah, sorry, Chris. Just
no. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for asking if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm better now. I'm back to. I can smell. I can eat. I can drink and actually taste it and enjoy myself now. But thank you.
And
sorry, Rachel. And YouTube, you can follow us.
There you go. The Art of Partying. Absolutely, I recommend it. And Stu enjoyed so many of the podcasts the last few days. I've got a big interview tonight with Impact Wrestling's Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo, and that'll be out next as well. And I'm sitting on a few others as well that are in the can. They are ready. But yeah, Deonna Purrazzo will be out in the next couple of days. I've got the interview right after this.
Hold on. I've got a few more. Honest, beyond reasonable.
Another regular guest. I can't believe that Stu only had the jacket potato in the microwave last week. That was the side. That was to go with my meat. I was expecting so much more with all the hype. Hey, she started it off in the microwave and then she made it into wedges. So like chips. Fries, like fries, if we're going to get into the American terms. Well, they weren't cut like fries, they were like wedges. But yeah, that's what we had. Do you think Joe Rogan is relevant in 2021? Hear me out. Rogan has become way more than just a UFC play-by-play. Guy signed a $1 billion deal with Spotify. I just wonder if he is as good. I like him doing the weigh-ins and stuff like that. There's no better man to ramp it up when they're going for the weigh-ins as well. It's all the stuff. He's synonymous with UFC. They have to keep him on regardless of the podcast. What do you guys think?
Albert, do you want to go?
Okay. I grew up watching the 2000s UFC, and I'm familiar with Joe Rogan. To tell you the truth, I really didn't care for him on commentator. I preferred Mike Goldberger because he really took it over the top, but I will never discount Joe Rogan as a playman. So, I mean, has it evolved? I mean, yeah. I mean, who could you go wrong with? I mean, he's been there for the long haul. So, I mean, he is synonymous with UFC.
Yep, completely. And do you not know when he first started in UFC, he was working there for free?
Yeah. Wasn't he doing the interview in UFC 1?
UFC 1, UFC 2, and then he got called in and then by the Fertitta brothers and Dana when they bought the company out, and then obviously gave him the job, permanently. Him and Mike Goldberg, Mike Goldberg made a load of mistakes, but it was brilliant.
Yeah. Mike Goldberg,
I loved it.
He's brilliant. You see, he's with Bellator, and but John Anik's done a good job. John Anik.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brendan, who's the other guy, Chris? What's his surname? The guy that does some of the fight nights and stuff.
The ESPN guy.
Brendan, the other play-by-play when John Anik doesn't do it.
Oh, I'm not sure what his name is.
I like him as well. They've got some good guys. Sorry, Richard Crowhurst, one of the boss men at Powered4.tv. Hey chaps, watching from work today. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for everything.
Appreciate it, Rich.
You and John, we appreciate everything you've done for us, man. Unbelievable, incredible guys.
I'll do one more comment. We'll carry on with the show and we'll get back to you. I'll do one more.
Willie, Chili Willie, former ECW original. All right, Willie, from the Philippines there. Absolutely. My man Chili.
I would love to be on the show when he's on and talk to him about old school.
We'll get Willie back on.
Yeah, listen, Chili will come back on. He's a good guy.
To the co-main event, and we were looking forward to this as well. Gilbert Burns with a grappling showcase, too much for Thompson. 29-28 from the three judges. I think that was a fair assumption of how the bout went. How did we feel? How did we feel about the co-main, lads?
I'll go first. You know what? Out of all the fights on the card, I don't think it was the most exciting fight on the card. I think it was probably I hate to say this, but I thought it was one of the most boringest. And I know to say that because the two guys in the fighting, and it's I shouldn't say it's boring, but considering what we had before all that, every fight was really, really good. So this one, considering we built it up last week, didn't we, Stuart? In regards of this is Stephen Thompson's last hurrah. He's 38. He needs to win this if he wants to get that title shot against Usman or Kobe Covington, whoever wins out of that. But I'm on the Usman train here, and I hope he does beat Kobe. But this was the fight, for to Wonderboy to get the next step. Unfortunately, Gilbert Burns listened to everything I said last week. I'm sure he must have, because I said about he's going to have to work really hard to get on the inside to take down Stephen Thompson. He did, and he brought Stephen Thompson down 3 times, which is a record in UFC for against Stephen Thompson, because no one else has took him down that many times in a fight since he's joined the company, which is really good, really, really good. I think the pressure of Burns was just outstanding. He really, got to work with Thompson. He didn't let Thompson too much sit on the outside and attack him with the leg kicks. I know he got caught a few times, but he obviously, we still got him down at the end of the day, and it was really, really good. He
landed some shots as well on the feet on him, didn't he? I noticed. Yeah. But the crowd, Chris, the crowd were booing at points. You're saying it could have been a bit more. It was almost like they were being cautious, weren't they, to an extent? Would you put it down to him being cautious? Overly cautious?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, but don't forget, Gilbert Burns is a banger, yes, he's got power, but he's primarily a flipping jiu-jitsu guy, and you're against a guy that has got really good takedown defense, and Stephen Thompson has. Woodley was a powerhouse at wrestling, struggled at times to get him down. He did, but he struggled with it. Where Burns did it really at will. There was a few scrambles from Thompson at the beginning of the fight. He did really well, but I always think every time, the scrambles happened and Thompson got up, Burns was coming in with the hooks, and they were, blasting through against Thompson. Bit lackluster for Thompson in this fight, though, to be honest with you. I do it, and I did expect more from him because, like I said, could have got maybe the next in line for the title shot. But unfortunately, I think for a man who's 38, I think that the whole step of getting that title fight now is away from him now, personally. Albert?
I think so myself. I was really impressed by this gentleman's ground game. It was some impressive stuff.
I think just the problem we've got here, we've got like the Khabib factor with Usman, haven't we? Whereby you've got an elite guy, and then the guys below are world class in their own right. And if Usman wasn't around, the title could be like a bit like hot potato. But I think you're in a Khabib scenario. Like you've spoken about it various times, Chris. Who the hell is going to beat Usman? Because he's become incredible on the feet as he is, amazing on the ground. Who comes along to defeat the throne Usman, Chris? I'm struggling. I think he's going to have it for a long, long time.
I totally agree with you. I really, really do. I think, Kobe Covington probably is the only guy I can see because of their first fight, and Kobe Covington and Usman was really close. I know he knocked him out and broke his jaw in the end, but it was a very tight fight that, was closer than what people, have really said about the fight. Kobe could do, it could spring an upset, but you'd have to catch Usman on a really, really bad day. And Usman's now learning, how to punch, using his power like he did against Masvidal, against Gilbert Burns. He's a scary, scary dude when you can mix wrestling and have that sort of knockout power, but not forgetting about his wrestling, utilizing both, to put off your opponent, not knowing what's coming.
Exactly. I will say this. When you were talking about Usman's knockout power, when I saw the highlights of the Masvidal fight, I was not expecting him to knock him out, and I was impressed. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, Covington, going to be a long night for you if he knocks your ass out.
But as you said, Chris, Colby did have some success.
Yes, he did.
In that first bout, he's probably got as close as anybody's going to get. Does he have a puncher's chance?
I don't think he's knocking Usman out though, personally.
No.
I know Burns briefly dropped him with, I think it was more of a flash, wasn't it? It wasn't anything big. It was a flash of a knockdown. But no, I don't think he's got a puncher's chance. I think it's just the work rate and the pressure that Kobe Covington can put on you, and you see it throughout his fights. He's really good at backing up against the cage and dirty boxing, using his wrestling when he needs to, but he's pressure. And a lot of fighters, they struggle with that, and the cardio aspect of, Kobe Covington, putting you up against the fence and making you work, for 3 to 5 rounds. It's a whole different ball game, but Usman's just, again, on the next level. And, as we said last week, it would have been brilliant to see Khabib move up to 170 and face Usman. That would have been a banger.
Absolutely. Chris, are we getting on to this weekend's UFC Fight Night next?
Yes, we are.
It's Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises and the return of Miesha Tate. So, yes, UFC Fight Night this weekend, Chris. I've not heard of Thiago Moises. I know very little. Obviously, you've spoken about Makhachev. I've seen quite a great deal of Makhachev. I see that, not knowing with Thiago, I see Makhachev getting the W in that one.
Well, Thiago and Makhachev, to say this very quickly, they're both on a 3-fight winning streak. Thiago Moises is he's fought. I had it in my head now, and it's just completely gone. He's fought some big fights. Michael Johnson, he's fought Michael Johnson, and he submitted Michael Johnson. He's fought some big time players. Bobby Green, he's fought Bobby Green and beaten him recently as well.
Wow.
So
he's not to be slept on, then, is he?
No. And he's very mixed, Thiago Moises, with knockout wins, submissions, as well as decisions. But he's got quite an array of finishes, so he's not just your average sort of Brazilian. He's very good, and it's a good test for Islam Makhachev. And he's sitting 9th in the rankings at the moment. I still think, he's going to need a bigger name, because I know everyone's saying he's the next coming of Khabib, don't they? And it'd be interesting to see him against a bigger fighter, like Justin Gaethje. Someone along those lines, Michael Chandler. I think Michael Chandler and Gaethje are going to get put together anyway. But I'm just thinking of someone like that. Please don't ever give him Conor McGregor. I don't want to see it.
Oh my days!
I don't want to see it. But yeah, I'd probably go with Makhachev as well, because Makhachev is just a beast, and he's just going to take him down on the floor, and he's going to beat him up like he's done, like Khabib's done, and like he does. Yeah, it's going to be a long night for Thiago. But Thiago's a really good fighter, though, so I wouldn't sleep on him.
How do you feel about it? Sorry, Albert. Yeah.
I'm not too familiar of this gentleman that Chris has brought up, but you know what? I believe this is going to be a good fight. I really do.
Yeah.
And the return of Miesha Tate, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I was looking back. She hasn't fought since she fought Raquel. I can't even say her name now. Pennington was go to her second name.
Raquel Pennington.
Yeah. I couldn't get a name out of my mouth then. That was in November. That was November the 12th, 2016. So she's had quite a lengthy layoff. I know she's had a kid since. And she showed up on all sorts of different MMA shows. She's a former Strikeforce and UFC bantamweight champion. Everyone knows her for a rivalry with Ronda Rousey. Because
that trilogy.
Everyone knows about that. Renu's on a 3-fight losing streak. And this makes me wonder: is this a tune-up fight for Miesha Tate? Have they given her this sort of fight, to get, to dip her feet back in the waters because it's been so long? I think for Renu, I think this is probably she's deal or die for her. She's got to win because I don't think she's gonna she'll be in the UFC if she's to lose her 4th fight on the row. So I think we'll all probably unanimously go with Miesha Tate here, won't we?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. It'll be a good card over the weekend. UFC Fight Night, plenty of UFC action. Chris,
yeah. Listen, this is all building up. We've got Dillashaw and Sanhagen next weekend. You know what I mean? We had that delayed, didn't we? A few months ago, we would have seen that by now. So it'd be great to see them in. You could see what Dillashaw's going to be like, because he's had a lengthy layoff. And yes, I know it's through steroids and what have you. But yeah, do you want to? Should we quick go to break and then crack on?
I think because we're gonna go to the boxing. So yeah, perfect, man.
This is Liam McGregor, and welcome to the Big Fight Weekly.
A warm welcome to Powered4.tv Big Fight Weekly episode 19, and have we got a special guest for you?
My first ever MMA fight I ever watched was the first ever Tito and Liddell fight, and then I fell in love then, and I was sold for life.
I think I watched the same one.
Oh, there you go, Lindsay.
Yeah.
It was a great fight. You beat Tito, and you were the first person to submit him. And when I saw that, you being an English guy, and yes, I am biased when it comes to UK fighters. I'm not going to lie, that's the way I am. But when you beat him, and you beat him by submission, mate, I could have punched a hole in the wall with, loved it.
Yeah. No, I was buzzing with that one. And I kind of knew. I knew what he was going to try and do. Stopped. I was delivering TVs for this company, Fortuna, and it was crap, you know what I mean? But at least I wasn't so tired, so I could finish work quickly and then go to the gym, train for about 5-6 hours, and then go home. You don't you've got plenty of other fighters to look after. I'll go find someone who's my own size. No, wait, give me 5 minutes, right? He comes back out of the office. He's like, I've got you a contract with Bellator. I was like, well, so that is all I had to do, just basically threat to leave the gym, and you get me a contract. So that sound.
Did the UK press not contact you when you won? Did you not get any of that at all?
He hit me in the side of the face. Well, it's this side, so he hit me in the side of the face of the jaw, right? So I kind of just turned my head and put my face on the side of the mat, right? He reached round, and as he reached round, he grabbed my face, and that was the one where I was like, it felt like electric shock shot up to my brain. And all the way down my body, I was like, nah, get off me, please. I was like, enough. He's like, what? I said, dude, you broke my jaw. He's like, I fucking knew you weren't going to tap from that. People are like, you tap from a punch. I was like, mate, you get the fuck in here and break your jaw and then continue fighting and tell me when you're going to tap.
We're all as fans, we're all full of it, aren't we? But until you get in there, listening to know what you've been through, different. Everyone's an expert.
Keep going. When you've got that little voice in your head that says, oh, no, you can't, stop, keep going, push past it, break past it, don't listen to that, don't listen to anybody else, just keep pushing on. You're never going to make watch me.
From a few weeks ago, our special guest, former Bellator light heavyweight champion, the first UK fighter to get world honours, as Chris said. Chris, you played a blinder getting Liam McGregor on, and he's opened his gym, hasn't he, as well in Hawaii. Living out in Hawaii, formerly of the UK. Great guy.
Unfortunately, obviously, yesterday we got the news, and I sent you the message over Facebook, and him being released by Bellator. Quite sad because, he's still a good fighter. I know he's lost a few towards, his tail end now, and he's had a few injuries, but he's still a damn good fighter. Hopefully, maybe Cage Warriors or someone in Hawaii can give him another fight just to finish that itch he's got, because, he's been out for so long, so it'd be nice to see him get back in.
It would be nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, we enjoyed Liam, man. It was good. It's good getting
We've
him
just
on.
a new member of the viewers, so I'm going to bring him up.
All right, 5th gen, Carney Joseph Wivett. First time watching the show. It's highly enjoyable. Carney power in his graphic there as well. No, we appreciate that, man. First time viewer. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, and welcome, as Albert says. Absolutely.
Welcome.
Matt Jarrett. Yeah.
How you doing, Matt?
Absolutely. Hello, Matt. Hello. Yeah,
Hello, Matt.
Wrestling promoter, wrestler. Yeah, Matt's done a lot in wrestling in the UK. Great guy. And the news, after we built it up quite nicely last week, leading into it, there was a couple of weeks ago, and then a few days after last week's live show, we get the news that there's COVID in the Fury camp. The fight is postponed. It's now been targeted for October the 9th. Like you said, Chris, couldn't have got it sooner, maybe tried another venue. You know, they maybe could have got it done for next month, but no, we have to wait. The saga continues. Joshua's got to get through his fight with Usyk. That's the one we want, though, Fury versus Joshua, but we're just going to have to wait a bit longer. We're going to have to wait a bit longer, aren't we?
Unfortunately, the way it is, I mean, I had COVID, didn't I? And it does take, a couple of weeks to get yourself over it, especially, I suppose, if you're an athlete. It might take a bit more because, you are working on your body, trying to get fit and prepare yourself. So, obviously, I don't know if it was Fury actually had COVID or was it just people in his camp. I'm not sure if they've actually come out with anything, really, have they? But yeah, it's a shame. We spoke about it. Maybe, why couldn't they got it in the end at the end of August? Why couldn't they have got it somewhere between Joshua and Usyk? That would have been brilliant. Imagine that back to back. It's just a shame we have to wait till October the 9th. And this prolongs, obviously, as you just said then, Fury and Joshua. But fingers crossed, some point next year we're going to get that fight and we can have an actual chat about it without it, stopping and we having to go back and forward with it.
It's the curse of this show sometimes. It's like when we've had the eye pokes in the fights after we've dissected a fight in the UFC. Sometimes it just doesn't go to plan. You cover these things and then we get scuppered by something out of nowhere. But yeah, we look forward to that.
Or leg breaks, mate, because we've had 2.
But I'm still remiss with Wilder that they've changed his style. Yeah. I can't see it. There's only one man. There's only one man winning that fight.
Tyson Fury.
And he's going up to 300 pounds. He was 270 in the last fight, so he's got more power again. Sorry, Chris.
No. I'd like to know if Albert's got anything to contribute to that.
Yes, sorry, Al.
Hearing you guys talk about it, you guys are turning me around and being a Tyson Fury fan, so I might have to watch this.
You've got to be Fury. I know Wilder's from the US, but yeah, you got to be Fury, man.
Oh yeah,
all the way, mate. All the way.
Wilder's a one-trick pony, as Chris said.
He is a one-trick pony. He's got a power hand, and that's it. Fury is a natural boxer. But you'll see when they fight, and it'll be shown that Fury's a better fighter because he's a better fighter in both fights.
I believe that.
And from this past Saturday, from the world-famous Royal Albert Hall in London, Lyndon Arthur stops David Ferracci to set up a potential rematch with Anthony Yarde. The problem was Anthony Yarde was on the same bill, but his opponent, Amin, was injured basically. So at the final hour, the match has been postponed till next month. But off the back of that, Lyndon Arthur is now ready for Anthony Yarde. And as you said, Chris, he used that jab to aplomb and used the jab well, as he did in the first fight with Anthony Yarde last December.
Yeah, he did. He stayed on the outside and he used his jab. His straight jab was brilliant. He kept, I couldn't pronounce the guy's name, the Italian dude he fought.
David Ferracci.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, sounds Italian. Hey, Ferracci. Sorry. But yeah, he was really good with the outside strikes and he did keep him outside. But the only issue I have with Arthur in this fight is the lapse in concentration that let Ferracci into the fight. And he did let him in a few times and it was a lack of concentration, as I just said. But, all paid off in the end because Lyndon Arthur went and let his hands go in the 9th round and let loose with two knockdowns. And obviously the second knockdown was what won him the fight. He's a really good fighter, but my worry is if he's having these lapses in concentrations against a better fighter, he may lose it.
Anthony Yarde was the man before that first fight. I know he'd lost to Sergei Kovalev. That's not a bad loss in the slightest.
Yeah, not at all.
I didn't know much. I got to be honest. I didn't know much about Lyndon Arthur until he fought Anthony Yarde. He's still undefeated as well. Anthony Yarde, he is powerful. he's going to have to use that power because he knows he can't get at him really with the jabs. I think he's a more, he's better with the jab, is Lyndon Arthur. So yeah, we look forward to Anthony Yarde getting back in and hopefully set up the rematch. And we have got a bit of boxing scheduling coming up for you. Chris has got the graphics, and we're just going to run through very quickly. As you can see, Jamel Charlo versus Brian Castano at super welterweight. Jamel Charlo's younger brother. And as you can see, a lot of belts on the line there. I think that's everything. That's everything. I think maybe the ring title's not there, so I'm not sure. But yeah, big fight. Fit it in. Big fight, Charlo. He's well respected. He's a very good fighter. And on domestic, as you can see there, domestically in the UK, Wembley Arena on July the 24th. So it's coming up very, very soon. We have got Joe Joyce, who won his last fight, and it's eluding me now, the name of it. Daniel Dubois. He beat Daniel Dubois last year. But he's taking on Carlos Takam, and Carlos Takam has obviously fought Joshua. Joshua had a tough night that night because he was punching downwards. Takam's very short and stocky. It won't be an easy night for Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is quite methodical. He's quite slow in pace. He likes to whittle his opponent down. But it's going to be a tough night for Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce will be favourite, but I wouldn't sleep on Takam either. He's very durable. He's a stern opponent for Joe Joyce. No question.
All right, I'll move on to these.
And yet, the Matchroom Fight Camp, they are starting out. It will be on DAZN. Obviously, Matchroom have left Sky Sports now. They are in with DAZN. And yeah, from the back garden of Matchroom headquarters, again, the ticket prices, I think, was £750 to go to these events.
Christ.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. But yeah. Conor Ben, who we've obviously spoken about quite a bit, haven't we, Chris? We've covered a couple of his fights. Granados, we actually said about Granados and him getting it on next. So yeah, that'll be a good one to open at the Matchroom Fight Camp. And then Tommy McCarthy versus Chris Billum-Smith at Cruiser, and Shannon Courtney waiting for an opponent. She obviously won her last fight. She's another good prospect in the females division there at bantamweight. And Campbell Hatton, the son of Ricky Hatton, opponent to be confirmed at super featherweight. A lot of people have criticised Campbell Hatton. He's in his infancy, isn't he, Chris?
He's still learning everything. And we've had this conversation before. A lot of people are getting on his back. You mean, let's get behind him and let's, get behind him so he can push on and have that, the fans backing him instead of, being an arsehole towards him.
They've put him in the pro ranks. You know what I mean? They could have gone down the amateur route and he could have had more fights. But, he's got Matthew, obviously, Ricky's brother with him. Matthew, had a great career. He had a fantastic career. He was good. He was good. He fought Kell Brook, I remember. He's got his dad there. All that experience at World Level is incredible. And then into August, the next fight camp, there is 3 or 4 events of fight camp through the summer, and we've got Kid Galahad. I've been a big fan of Kid Galahad for a long, long time as well, against James Dickens at IBF, of the IBF featherweight title, so it is for the world title. And I like Kid Galahad, fantastic boxer. So that is Galahad. Hey, that's what is coming up in the boxing. Just thought we'd do something different, do some scheduling for you there. Some big fights. It's been a bit quiet on the boxing the last couple of weeks.
What I'll do is I'll throw some more comments out. Let's see.
Keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep them coming.
Rambo.
The
females in UFC, there isn't as many female fights as men, but Dana wouldn't do the stupid wrestling philosophy of all these women's shows, would he? He's just is inclusive to both male and female.
Well, he wasn't at the start, was he? Let's be honest.
No. They built up to that, didn't they? It was always Strikeforce, wasn't it?
Yeah. Strikeforce had it, yeah, of course he did. Listen, I'm not sure what he's alluding to with the way he's saying, but ladies always get their fair share on the card. You do get ladies headlining cards. Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, Miesha Tate. They have all, headlined in the card. So Dana White's never had an issue. Obviously, he did it a few years ago before, obviously, women break in. But me and you spoke about this. Besides both boxing and MMA fights, the ladies have kicked ass.
They go out there. I've said it as well. They go out there and they put it all on the line. When some guys, the blokes, are a bit too insular and they don't go for it like the ladies. They're there to, I tell you. And we've had, as you say, we've had some great fights and they're entertaining. And it's across all sports. women's sport worldwide is so much bigger now, and it should be. So it should be showcased. It shouldn't be secondary.
No, it should be just the same as the men.
You get a lot of ex-footballers, women, doing analysis now, and that's great. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. They should be women's sports should be highlighted.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Brett Thomas, I watched Anaconda last week. There you go, Chris. He said he was going to watch Anaconda. Hasn't aged well with effects. I'm going to watch Steven Seagal's Nico when this finishes. Like, I'm not a film buff. Albert and Chris like the films. I'll watch some films. I'll watch a bit. I'll watch a bit of Marvel. Caris will drag me to the cinema. I want to watch Space Jam 2, actually. That's what I want to watch.
I'm not
no, I'm not watching it.
Why? Come on.
Hey, okay, let me just say something, right? Space Jam was something when we were kids. Unfortunately, we had R. Kelly on there, who's a paedophile, but unfortunately, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. I'm going to be honest here.
I'm from Chicago, so I know already.
Yeah, we just speak from the heart. Yeah, I'm not going to mince my words, even though he is a mincer. But
I believe I love fly. It was a great shot.
But probably said that all to the women.
Until we found out what he was getting up to.
Oh, yeah.
But, at the end of the day, Space Jam, Michael Jordan, bloody Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. One of the best actors in the world is Bill Murray. But that was then. This is now. And I'm not a child anymore. And I don't know.
I thought you'd want a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Memory lane.
I've seen films come out of nostalgic. They've made sequels or reboots, and they've been awful. I'm a cultivist when it comes to films. Like with Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, leave them where they are. Don't remake them. Just leave them. Save for Space Jam. I don't need to see it because I've seen it, and I enjoyed it, and I don't need to see it again. Just leave that where it is. You don't need to make any more films that are emulated from the old. Why can't these people have some more ideas and make something new?
Albert, why don't you want to see Space Jam 2 with LeBron?
Well, first of all, I'm not a big LeBron James fan. Even
though
brother-in-law, he loves his LeBron, and I respect that. But yeah, I'm just not a big LeBron James fan. Number one, number two, the first one should have one and done. That's it. Don't come back with it. I mean, it is what it is. But Brett Thomas, about that Anaconda thing, you are completely. That's my grandma.
Hello, Grandma. Hello, how are you? Hello, Grandma.
Well, good.
My niece is here. So yeah, but to answer Brett Thomas's question about Anaconda, it has not aged well, and that is a pretty bad movie.
What about it's not great, is it?
What about I remember watching Predator at your old house, Chris, about 15, 16 years ago, probably. And it probably looks far worse now than it did when we watched it 15, 16 years ago.
Predator is still brilliant to this
day. Is it? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
That's the old man.
Hello, Dad. Hello, Dad. All good, man. All
Predator,
good.
the first Predator we're talking about now, Arnold Schwarzenegger one, 1989 one, that is still brilliant to watch now. That is fantastically. That is where that should stay. Every other Predator, maybe the second one was all right with Danny Glover.
The second one was really good.
Yeah, if it didn't master to the first Predator film. But every Predator since, they say the second one has been dog awful. This
has turned into BBC's film with Barry Norman, this. Remember when he used to review the films back in the day, Chris, on the BBC? Barry Norman was a legend, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, man. Albert, you would have liked Barry Norman. He was great, man. Tyler T, hell of a show again. Cheers, Isaac. And
Thank you.
He loves his combat sports. He trains like a Trojan, does Isaac. Carnage Payne, this is getting boring now with Tyson Fury and AJ. These promoters are rotten. Obviously, COVID, you can't do anything about that. But in general, it takes too long. I've got to be fair. Dana White would have made this fight.
Oh, yeah, he would have.
Dana White would have made the fight if it was UFC. If it was under the UFC umbrella, we would have had the first one by now. I agree. We don't want it to get into a Pacquiao Mayweather time frame where it happened 5-6 years too late.
Yeah, and then there's no point then because he's past his peak.
It was just they've got to get it done. It's got to be done next year, man. Have to get it done. It's going to cause havoc otherwise. Cornish Pain, yeah, another film as well is Dogtanian and the Three Musclehounds. Do you mean Muskehounds? Sorry, yeah. A kids show I loved in the 80s. Now they run out of ideas. Yeah.
I agree. That is true.
I cannot say anything because I'm a child of the 90s, so I've never seen that.
Old school cartoons, man, even the 90s cartoons, well better. Kids today, I watch my nephews watch some of the stuff. I'm sure Chris's kids, he's probably thinking, why are you watching? You know, they need to watch the old school cartoons, man. I'm all for that. Like,
I listen. I have tried. I've tried to show them the Thundercats from the 80s. I tried to show them Transformers.
It still holds up today. All right, graphically, you know, it's not gonna but the story that's told, amazing.
We're talking.
Loved it, I loved it.
We're talking effects that were technologically in the Stone Age back in the 80s.
Yes, they were. Have got anything else?
They were better.
Before we close out.
No, that's it, mate. That is absolutely everybody.
Right. Albie, you've been a guest. Albert Barlow, where can the viewers find you? Yeah, plug, man. We'll get you in first.
Okay. You guys can find me and UK Chris, as we call him, on The Art of Partying. It's a live show that we do, what would you say, twice Saturday?
It's every 2 weeks, isn't it? We do.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. We'll be going live next Saturday. We're going to have a big show. Hopefully, we have a special guest. So you can find us on YouTube at The Art of Partying. Like I said, you can follow us on Twitter at The Art of Partying, Instagram at The Art of Partying, and our Facebook, The Art of Partying. That's where you can find us.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on today. I've enjoyed having you on, man. It's good to finally do something with you. You know, in a live. I'll have to come on AOP at some point. I know I've let you down. I've let you down various times.
I mean, like I said,
I'll return the favor, Alb.
Exactly. When it comes to guests, we like to plan it out at least 2 weeks, at least a week before we do The Art of Partying. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we can get one of the couple of guests I've talked to. We're going to keep it a secret. And another thing is we do movie reviews, specifically horror movie reviews. I will announce the 2 that we're doing. It was leaked a little bit by me on Facebook, but you're going to love it. So that announcement will be this Sunday.
Albert Barlow, the host of Art of Partying. Chris, where can you find you? Or are you going to say something before that?
Yeah. Listen, guys, I know we were talking about movies and TV shows. We do them on Art of Partying. It's very chilled. We have a few beers and we just chat like.
I want to have a beer. I want to have a Saturday night beer, man. Come on, man. But it's like, yeah.
But we talk a loads of raising different things. You know, there is wrestling on there. We do talk about mixed martial arts, but they're very small because obviously I do it here and I don't really want to do too much on that show.
But you still can. You still can.
No, I know that, but we cover so much. But we like talking about movies, games as well. We talk about games. Yep. We talk about all sorts of different ways what's going on.
You encompass a lot of topics, which is not easy to do, might I add. Yeah, you do it well. You do it well, lads. You do it well. You really do.
And one last thing, we talk about the upcoming Halloween festivals that go on in Orlando. Right now, we're talking about the biggest one, which is Halloween Horror Nights. So let's see, maybe next week we'll get more news on that, but be looking out for that. Oh, and I have another show called Mornings with Bert, which will up-to-date you every Friday on what's going to happen on The Art of Partying.
Lovely way to preview The Art of Partying on the Friday. There you go. Mornings with Bert. Chris Hume, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Van Hume. You can find me on Instagram at VanHume86. You can also, again, find me on Facebook at Powered 4 Big Fight Weekly page. Come along, come join us, come join the conversation with us. I'll be happy to speak to you all. And thank you for coming and watching the show. We really appreciate it. To all our viewers, and really appreciate this every week that you turn up for us.
And I have been Stu Palmer, and I am the host of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. Have I got a guest for you this week? Current Impact Knockouts champion, 2-time Knockouts champion, the virtuoso. It is Deanna Peraza. I'm looking forward to that. I've got a nice 20-minute interview coming, so we'll get that out this week. And I just want to say thank you to all the viewers for your comments today on episode 21 of Powered4.tv, Big Fight Weekly. And I will not be here next week. It will be Chris and John. Albert, I think Chris is going to invite you again.
I'm more than willing to do it again.
22, so I'm away next week. But you will be in the hands of Chris, John, and Albert next week.
And we'll see you then. Thank you very much for turning up. We really appreciate it. See you later.
See you.